I never expected a simple weekend at my cousin Mia's house to completely turn my life upside down. I'm Alex, an ordinary guy with an ordinary life. Or at least I thought so. By day, I work at a small graphic design studio, buried under deadlines and client demands. By night, I sometimes indulge in a secret fascination, experimenting with crossdressing in the privacy of my apartment. It started as curiosity, a way to explore another side of myself. At first, it was just harmless experimentation, slipping on a dress, brushing on a little makeup, and marveling at the reflection of someone I didn't fully recognize but secretly admired. It was my private escape, a thrill I didn't dare share with anyone until Mia's friends came into the picture. Mia has always been a whirlwind of energy. She's outgoing, adventurous, and thrives on pushing boundaries. Spending time at her place was like stepping into another world, filled with laughter, teasing, and constant surprises. Her circle of friends was equally vibrant, a group that thrived on playful dares and cheeky games. I usually stuck to the edges, watching the fun unfold with a mix of amusement and nervous anticipation. But that weekend, Mia had planned a small gathering, and I was roped in. Little did I know that casual plan would ignite a chain of events I could never reverse. The house was buzzing when I arrived. Mia's friends, sociable, teasing, and sharp-eyed, flooded the living room with chatter, snacks, and endless selfies. I felt a familiar twinge of anxiety. Crowds weren't exactly my comfort zone. I tried to fade into the background, leaning against a wall, nursing a soda, and hoping no one would notice the faint shimmer of mascara I'd applied earlier for fun. It wasn't meant to be noticed, just a small indulgence to see how I felt. The reflection in the hallway mirror caught my eye, and for a split second, I saw more than Alex. I saw someone lighter, softer, someone I could be if the world allowed it. Mia's laughter rang out, dragging me from my thoughts. "Alex, come join us in the game," she called, waving me over. I hesitated, then reluctantly moved forward. Her friends eyed me curiously. One of them, Lily, tilted her head and gave me a playful smile. "You're really pretty today," she said. The word struck me like a bolt of lightning. Pretty? Not Alex. Pretty. I froze, unsure whether to laugh or blush. Mia elbowed me gently, a mischievous grin plastered on her face. "Oh, stop teasing him, or should I say her?" Her words sparked a ripple of laughter among the friends. My heart pounded in my chest. I could feel the heat rising in my face, but strangely, I didn't feel embarrassed. Instead, there was a strange thrill, an electric combination of fear and excitement. Their perception, their assumption, transformed something inside me. For a moment, I didn't correct them. I didn't clarify that I was Alex, that this was a harmless game. Instead, I smiled, letting the thrill wash over me. I realized, maybe for the first time, how natural it felt to be seen this way, even if only for a fleeting moment. The game began, a silly dare-based challenge that required us to mimic celebrities, act out embarrassing scenes, and, inevitably, accept playful dares. I watched as my friends laughed, each round escalating in absurdity. Then came the fateful moment. Mia's friend Sarah leaned over and whispered, "Why don't you play along, Alex, as a girl?" My pulse quickened. The suggestion wasn't just teasing, it was an invitation, a dare I couldn't resist. I looked around at their expectant faces, my reflection in the nearby mirror reminding me of how convincingly feminine I could appear. Before I could talk myself out of it, I nodded. "Okay, I'll do it," I said, my voice catching slightly. And just like that, the game changed, and so did I. Mia's friends cheered, and Mia clapped her hands with delight. "Yes. Finally, you'll see the real fun," she said, leading me to her bedroom where her dress-up stash awaited. The room was like a treasure trove. Racks of dresses, shelves of shoes, stacks of makeup, and wigs of every style imaginable. My hands trembled as I reached for a soft, pink dress, sliding it over my shoulders. The fabric felt alien, yet strangely comforting. Then came the makeup. Mia guided my hands, showing me how to apply foundation, contour, blush, and a touch of mascara. Every stroke of the brush transformed me further, and I could feel the thrill building, my reflection slowly becoming a version of myself I had only ever dared to imagine. By the time I emerged from the room, Mia's friends were waiting, holding back laughter and excitement. They stared at me, wide-eyed, whispering to each other. "Wow, she looks amazing," someone said. The words hit me like a jolt. She? My stomach flipped, my pulse racing. And then, instead of correcting them, I felt something I couldn't explain. The more they accepted this version of me, the more it felt real. Alex faded, and the persona they adored, the feminine, delicate, beautiful version, took center stage. The night blurred into laughter, photos, and endless playful teasing. I moved among them, feeling both exposed and exhilarated. Every glance, every compliment, every whisper of admiration fed the strange, new confidence inside me. I was no longer just participating in a game. I was becoming someone new, someone captivating, someone undeniably feminine. And just as the evening seemed to settle into a comfortable rhythm, a thought hit me. This wasn't temporary. This wasn't just a dare. Their perception, their assumptions, had triggered something irreversible. Somewhere deep inside, I realized that from this moment on, life would never be the same. Mia smiled knowingly, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "You know," she said softly, "once people see you this way, it changes everything." I swallowed hard, staring at my reflection in the mirror across the room. The person looking back at me was undeniably beautiful, undeniably feminine, undeniably me. And in that instant, I understood that I had crossed a line, one that might never let me return to who I was before. The following morning, I woke up in Mia's guest room, still feeling the remnants of last night's adrenaline. The dress I had worn for the dare hung neatly on the chair, as if it were waiting for me to embrace it again. My reflection in the mirror startled me. Yesterday's playful disguise had left a permanent mark on my mind. I wasn't just Alex anymore, not fully. Somewhere between the laughs, the teasing, and the camera flashes, I had become her, the feminine version everyone had assumed I was. Mia was already bustling around the kitchen, making coffee and chattering with her friends. I hesitated at the doorway, feeling a familiar rush of nerves and excitement. Seeing me in yesterday's makeup-free, casual attire, they still glanced my way with curiosity. The duality of their perception thrilled and terrified me. Part of me wanted to flee, to retreat back into the comfort of my male identity, but another part, strangely powerful, wanted to linger, to explore this new persona further. "Good morning, Alex, or should I say, princess?" Lily teased, sliding a plate of pancakes toward me. Her eyes sparkled with mischief. The nickname made my pulse quicken. The thrill wasn't in the words alone. It was in how real it felt to be seen that way, how easy it was to inhabit this identity when others expected it. I forced a casual smile, trying to mask the flood of excitement bubbling inside me. Mia sidled up next to me, her grin conspiratorial. "Come on, don't hide your excitement. Today we're going to really see how convincing you can be." My stomach twisted. What did she mean? Before I could ask, she led me back to her room, where yesterday's transformation had felt like a game. Now, however, the stakes seemed higher. This time, Mia's friends had laid out a plan. I would fully embrace the persona, attend the local cafe with them, and interact as the girl they believed I was. No hiding, no excuses. The preparation began. Mia handed me a delicate skirt and blouse set, perfectly tailored for a small male-to-female transformation. "Trust me," she said, "you're going to knock them all out." I nodded, feeling a mix of anticipation and nervous tension. As I dressed, the weight of the skirt, the softness of the blouse, and the unfamiliar sensation of the fabric on my skin ignited a heady mixture of vulnerability and empowerment. Every brushstroke of Makeup Mia guided me through intensified the experience, making me hyper-aware of my new reflection. When I finally emerged, Mia and her friends gasped, their expressions a mixture of awe and amusement. "Wow, she's perfect," Sarah whispered, a hint of admiration in her voice. My heart raced, not just from the attention, but from the strange, intoxicating validation. As we stepped out into the crisp morning air, I noticed how differently people reacted to me. Strangers on the street glanced with curiosity, some smiling politely, others staring openly. The unfamiliar rhythm of walking in heels and adjusting my posture made me feel simultaneously elegant and precarious. With each step, my confidence grew, but so did the tension. Any misstep could reveal the secret behind the persona. We arrived at the cafe, where Mia's friends had arranged a small social experiment. They introduced me as Mia's cousin visiting from out of town, and the reactions were immediate. Compliments, double takes, and subtle admiration flowed freely. I laughed, conversed, and maneuvered through the crowd with a mixture of anxiety and exhilaration. Each interaction reinforced the reality of my transformation, not just physically, but socially and emotionally. I was being treated as someone else entirely, and the power, the thrill, and the fear of it all were overwhelming. During a quiet moment, I slipped outside for air. The adrenaline in my chest refused to subside. I touched my face, feeling the contour of the makeup, the delicate brush of foundation, and the powdery blush on my cheeks. I caught my reflection in the cafe window, Alex and her intertwined in a way that was both thrilling and terrifying. For the first time, I admitted to myself that this identity wasn't just a game. It was a part of me, a side that craved acknowledgement, acceptance, and expression. Back inside, Mia whispered, "You're doing amazing. But remember, the real challenge is keeping it up when you're alone, when no one is watching, and when doubts creep in." Her words struck deep. It wasn't just about external validation. It was about internal acceptance. The thrill of the day was intoxicating, but the thought of returning home, returning to Alex, terrified me. Would I be able to reconcile the two? Would I dare to embrace this new persona fully, or retreat to the safety of my old life? Later, back at Mia's house, the dares escalated. Her friends encouraged photo sessions, playful modeling, and even short skits. Every move I made, every laugh, every pose, reinforced the duality of my existence. I was Alex, yes, but I was also this feminine version, and increasingly, the latter felt more authentic, more alive. The evening drew near, and with it, the tension of the secret. What if someone outside this circle discovered me? What if my family saw the photos or overheard conversations? The thought made my stomach churn, blending fear with excitement. This was more than crossdressing. It was an exploration of identity, a test of boundaries, and a plunge into unknown emotional territory. As the night wound down, Mia leaned close. "You know, the best part isn't just looking the part. It's feeling it. And you feel it perfectly." Her words sent shivers down my spine. I caught my reflection in the mirror one last time that night, and the reality hit me like a wave. I was no longer just a participant in a dare. I had stepped into a life that was thrilling, terrifying, and utterly consuming. That night, as I lay in the guest room, I couldn't sleep. Every moment of the day replayed in my mind. The compliments, the stares, the laughter, the thrill of living as someone entirely new. My pulse was relentless, my mind racing. Alex and her coexisted now, intertwined in ways I had never imagined. And deep inside, I knew that the journey had only just begun. The following day, the tension hit a new high. Mia had invited her friends over again, this time for a mini party at her house. I knew it was going to be bigger, more public, and far more challenging than yesterday. My heart raced as I tried to prepare myself mentally, but part of me thrilled at the thought of stepping even further into this new persona. Mia handed me a flowing pastel dress, paired with dainty heels. "You need to look flawless," she said, applying the final touches of makeup. Her precision and encouragement were intoxicating. I felt my nerves spike, knowing that every detail mattered. One slip, one wobble on the heels, and the illusion could shatter. When I entered the living room, Mia's friends gasped in awe. "She looks even better than yesterday," one whispered. I smiled, but the compliment made my chest tighten. It wasn't just their praise. It was the validation that this persona had a life of its own, and it was becoming harder to separate from Alex. The party began. I navigated the social dynamics carefully, laughing, chatting, and responding to compliments. But the thrill of being recognized as a girl came with a gnawing fear. Every glance, every subtle comment, reminded me that this was temporary, or at least it was supposed to be. Yet, deep down, I felt the persona solidifying. Then came the first real challenge. Mia's friend Lily suggested a group photo outside. I stepped forward confidently, but the heels betrayed me. I stumbled slightly, catching myself at the last moment. Everyone laughed lightly, assuming it was charm, but my heart pounded. The vulnerability of my transformation was real. Every misstep could reveal the truth behind the illusion. As the evening progressed, the conversation shifted. Questions about my life, my hobbies, and my family surfaced. Each answer I gave required careful thought to maintain the persona. Mia whispered, "Just stay in character, and no one will suspect a thing." But I realized that the closer I got to them, the more dangerous it became. The stakes weren't just about appearances, they were about my entire secret identity being exposed. Suddenly, the unexpected happened. The doorbell rang. Mia's parents, who weren't supposed to arrive for another hour, stood there smiling innocently. My stomach dropped. I had been caught in the middle of this transformation, dressed fully as a girl, with makeup, heels, and all. Panic surged through me. Mia froze, eyes wide. "Quick! Hide!" she whispered urgently. We scrambled, trying to hide in the rooms off the living area, but the parents were already stepping in, calling out. My heart pounded. The truth was dangerously close to being revealed. I ducked behind a curtain, heels clicking softly on the hardwood floor. Every sound, every word they uttered, heightened my anxiety. Was this the moment I'd be discovered? Would my family recognize me, or would they assume it was just a costume for a party game? My mind raced with worst-case scenarios, each more terrifying than the last. Suddenly, my heel snagged on the curtain. I stumbled, and the fabric slipped partially from my hiding spot. One of Mia's parents caught a glimpse, their eyes narrowing with curiosity. My pulse skyrocketed. This was it, the moment of ultimate suspense. Mia grabbed my hand, whispering, "Stay calm. You can do this." I nodded, trying to steady my breathing. I peeked out slowly, maintaining the posture, the grace, the confidence of my feminine persona. Her parents' eyes lingered, searching for answers. I smiled nervously, hoping the charm would carry me through. The tension escalated further when Lily, oblivious to the danger, walked past with a tray of drinks. She bumped into me, nearly knocking me over. My balance wavered, the heels threatening to betray me once more. I grabbed the edge of the couch, heart racing, praying that no one noticed. Minutes stretched like hours. Each small movement, each sound, was a potential disaster. I could feel sweat forming at my hairline, makeup threatening to smudge, and the heels digging into my feet. Every nerve screamed at me to retreat, to change back into Alex, to escape the dangerous allure of this dual life. But another part, a braver, bolder part, wanted to stay, to embrace this identity fully. The climax of suspense arrived when Mia's father stepped closer, a bemused smile on his face. "I never knew Mia had such a talented cousin," he said. The words hung in the air. My mind scrambled. Was he complimenting me? Was he suspicious? My heart raced uncontrollably. Mia nudged me subtly, signaling to maintain composure. I straightened, smiled gracefully, and replied in a soft, feminine voice that barely resembled Alex. "Thank you, sir. That's very kind of you." Every syllable felt like a tightrope walk. I was suspended between discovery and perfection, the thrill and the terror of the moment intertwining. The symbolic moment arrived as I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror. Alex's eyes stared back at me from behind the makeup, the skirt, the heels. For the first time, I truly recognized the duality. Two selves merged in one body, one persona under the public eye, another lurking behind. The mirror reflected not just my appearance, but my inner conflict, the fear of exposure, the thrill of validation, and the deep emotional stakes of living this hidden life. As Mia's parents lingered, chatting with the friends, I realized that I had survived. My secret remained intact for now. But the tension had reached its peak. The dual life I had stepped into was no longer a playful dare. It was a full-blown transformation, with risks and stakes higher than ever. By the end of the evening, as the guests left and the house quieted, I collapsed into a chair, exhilarated and exhausted. The adrenaline still coursed through me. Mia grinned, sensing my emotional turmoil.
See? You can handle it.
You're amazing. I nodded, but inwardly, I knew the real challenge was only beginning. The thrill of this identity, the thrill of being recognized as her, was intoxicating, but so was the danger. One misstep, one slip, and the fragile balance between Alex and my new persona could shatter completely. I looked at the mirror one last time that night, tracing the lines of my makeup, the curve of my skirt, the awkward yet confident stance in heels. The reflection smiled back, a blend of fear, excitement, and self-discovery. And deep down, I knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The house was quiet now. The last of Mia's friends had left, and her parents had gone to bed, leaving only the faint hum of the night outside and the soft ticking of the living room clock. I slumped into the couch, heels still on, heart still racing. The adrenaline hadn't left me yet, and neither had the realization. This wasn't just a one-time dare anymore. Mia sat beside me, her eyes sparkling with mischief and pride. "You did amazing tonight," she whispered. Everyone was convinced. Even my parents were. Well, they seemed impressed. She laughed softly, but the sound only heightened my anxiety. I could still feel the tension from moments ago, the close calls, the stumbles, the barely avoided exposure. I nodded, trying to steady my breathing. "Yeah, but it's getting harder, Mia. Every time I step into this persona, it feels like, I don't know, like I'm losing a little bit of Alex." My voice wavered as I admitted it aloud. She tilted her head, curious. Losing Alex? Or discovering something new? I frowned. Both, maybe. I feel like I'm trapped between two selves. And what if someone finds out? What if my parents, or worse, my friends, realize the truth? The thought alone made my stomach twist painfully. Mia reached over, squeezing my hand reassuringly. "That's the thrill of it. But you handled it. You were confident, graceful, perfect. And you know what? Maybe this isn't just a game anymore. Maybe this is you too." Her words sank deep into me, stirring both excitement and fear. I stared at my reflection in the hallway mirror once again. The soft lines of makeup, the curve of the skirt, the heels that felt both empowering and precarious. All of it reflected a version of myself I had never allowed to exist openly. The mirror didn't just show a costume, it showed a persona coming to life. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. I picked it up, and my heart stopped. A notification from one of Mia's friends popped up. "Can't believe how amazing you look tonight. Everyone's talking about you. Are you free tomorrow? We want to hang again." My pulse raced. Another opportunity to step further into this world. Another chance to risk exposure. I hesitated, fingers hovering over the screen. Part of me wanted to say yes immediately, thrill coursing through my veins. Another part screamed to delete it, to retreat, to cling to the safety of Alex. Before I could decide, the sound of a door creaking upstairs froze me in place. Mia's parents were awake. Footsteps echoed, deliberate and slow, coming closer to the living room. My chest tightened. Had they realized? Was my secret finally about to be exposed? Mia's eyes widened. "Stay calm," she whispered urgently, tugging me toward the corner behind the couch. My heels clicked softly on the hardwood floor as I crouched, heart hammering, the costume suddenly feeling like armor and a trap at the same time. The footsteps stopped just beyond the couch. A shadow moved across the room. I held my breath, praying my makeup and posture would maintain the illusion. My pulse pounded so loudly, I was sure they could hear it. Then a hand rested lightly on the edge of the couch, Mia's father. My stomach dropped. The shadow leaned closer. Every nerve in my body screamed in panic. And then he chuckled. "I have to say, you've really taken this whole presentation to another level," he said, his tone amused and curious rather than angry. I let out a trembling breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. Mia's eyes met mine, wide with a mixture of relief and warning. "He didn't see through it yet," she whispered. But the tension didn't leave. I knew this was only the beginning. One slip, one accidental comment, one overheard conversation, and my secret could be revealed to everyone. I looked down at my hands, still trembling slightly, and realized that my life had changed irrevocably. I wasn't just Alex anymore. I was something new, something thrilling, something fragile and dangerous all at once. And as the night stretched on, I understood one truth. I had crossed a line where every choice, every movement, every interaction carried the weight of exposure and the rush of transformation. I glanced once more at the hallway mirror, the reflection of my new self staring back, half smiling, half frozen in fear. And in that instant, I realized that tomorrow, everything could change. The phone buzzed again. Another message, another invitation, another step deeper into this dual life. I didn't know if I should reply, but I knew one thing for certain. There was no going back. And just as I reached to unlock the phone, the lights flickered. A shadow moved at the edge of the room. I froze. The suspense hung in the air, thick and suffocating. The next moment could change everything.